One voice talk from heaven say, "You na me pikin wey I like, I gladdy for you."
I go give you all this power and gentry. Then thing ya don't be me yo now. And I can give anybody where I like forgive. I go give you all that thing ya if you worship me.
God the word say, na God no more for worship. And I no more for work for.
I believe they will find them here. And I will do everything I can to promote this church and to advertise this church with all of the powers that we need. Because I believe that this church was built for destiny. This church was not built to just make you godly. It was built as a halfway station to help bring restoration to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, to Ghana, to Nigeria. And I want to take this time to pay tribute to Pastor Van. Sir, I am humbled to share this pulpit. This pulpit is a very intimidating pulpit because you are a man of the word. You are a great communicator. You are dynamic, you are articulate, you are godly, and I feel especially privileged to be offered this opportunity to serve with you. I knew your wife. I won't make any quotes. I knew her then. She was one of our spiritual children in Scripture Union and going to camps and so on. And I am not surprised, Fifi, that you are married to a pastor like this. I saw the makings of it many, many years ago. And tried to do something about that because she used to sit very nicely. The story, will you allow me as I put on my Windows 2009? The story that was read to us from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 2, it's a very, very familiar story. It's a story about a man who was paralyzed. We were not told whether he was born in this paralytic state. We were not told when the paralysis took place. But we were told that he was paralyzed, and I want to conjecture that he had been paralyzed for a very long time. And we were told that he was brought. They heard that Jesus was in Capernaum, and he was in somebody's home. So they tried to bring him there because the people that were carrying him were very convinced that if this man could only get to Jesus, he would be healed. And so they came to the house, but because of the crowd, the New King James says, they could not enter the house because of the crowd. The King James Version says, because of the press. Same word. And so they decided to remove some of the ties of the house where he was in and lower the man down right in front of Jesus. And then Jesus, seeing the man, forgave him of his sins and then went on to heal him. And we are told that the man stood up, picked up his mat, ran outside, jumping, leaping, and praising God. That's the story, isn't it? I want to suggest to you this afternoon that when this incident took place, more than 2100 years ago, in a small town in Palestine, that you and I, we were there when it happened. Yes, you and I, we were there. Or at least we were there as represented by some of the characters that we find in this story. And for my very few minutes this afternoon, I want to identify some of these characters for you and see if their characteristics mirrors who you are. And you might see something in them that you say, I don't want to be like that. But you might see something in some of them and say, that's the person I want to be like. So come with me as I take you into this passport to adventure, to discover who you really are by looking at this story again and looking at the characters. And one last poem by a Zimbabwean pastor. It says, the man fell into a pit of fear and could not get himself out. Along came a subjective person and said to him, I feel for you down here, good luck. Along came an objective person, and it says, it's logical that someone would fall into a pit and walks away. A Pharisee came along and said, only bad people fall into pits. Along came a mathematician, like Bonaconte, and he tried to calculate the angle from which the man fell into the pit. A local journalist wanted the exclusive story about the pit. A judgmental person said, you deserve to be in your pit. Somebody from the IRS, we don't know those guys in April, asked if the man was paying taxes on the pit. Confucius said, if you would have listened to me, you would not be in that pit. Buddha said, your pit is only a state of mind, it doesn't exist. A realist came along and says, that's a pit, all right. A scientist came along and tried to calculate the amount of pressure needed to get the man out of the pit. Somebody from your city hall asked the man if he even had permission to even dig in the pit. A self-pitying person said, you have not seen anything until you see my pit. An optimist said, things could be worse. A pessimist said, things will be worse. Jesus, seeing the man in the pit, took your hands, my hands, your feet, my feet, and lifted him out of the pit.
Jesus Christ comes, he's going to ask you what you have done for him. My encouragement is that you partner with us. Some of you cannot go where we are going. Some of you cannot wake up 2 a.m. in the morning and pray. But you can wake up with your money, with your resources, by helping us reach people who are really depressed, people who need this. There is someone, as I'm talking right now, a young man somewhere wanted to kill himself. Right now, as I'm talking, there is someone committing suicide. Honestly. We have to try, work hard to reach these people. Today we are here because, can you put that thing, can you put that thing what we're here for? We're here because we're trying to raise some money up so that we can build our own church. I tell you, if we have our own building, there will be stability. If we have our own building, there will be more people coming in. Because some people don't want to go to a school classroom. For some reason, best known to themselves. They are too prestigious to go to a school for a church. I know for sure that is true when we are in Freetown. People don't go to Bishop Abu's church when he was meeting at P.O., Prince of Wales. He said, that's not school. We can't go there. But when he built his building at Ascension Tower Road, number 29 Ascension Tower Road, people of all caliber came.